I'm here to nominate Melissa Smith.
I'm running as a delegate to give the majority in Dane County a voice. Wisconsin Conservation Congress should be an excellent opportunity for ethical hunters, urban residents, tribal members, and wildlife watchers to work together to improve the natural resources concerns. I believe we should be encouraging conservation, especially at this time of environmental crisis. Hunting and trapping in state parks is not a compromise, nor respectful for those who enjoy camping, hiking, wildlife watching. There are currently tens of thousands of public hunting acres in addition to private lands with the DNR, with the Forest Crop Law program, which allows only for public hunting and trapping and are not open to other recreational opportunities. I'm also deeply concerned about the financial impact that hunting and trapping in state parks will cause when this money could be used to purchase stewardship lands and conservation programs. This would be better suited to the interest of all of us, including hunters. The DNR has cut their budgets in half. There just simply aren't enough funds to support the regulated hunting and trapping in state parks. State park purchases will drop if these practices are allowed to continue, just as the Endangered Species Fund dropped due to the wolf hunt. State parks should serve as places where wildlife can coexist without being harvested. Scientists and nature lovers like myself need places where the impact of hunting and trapping do not affect our needs. One of the things I most enjoy about our state parks is that they are a safe haven for me to appreciate wildlife and feel safe with children and pets. I don't want what happened to my friend Carolyn Shepard's dog Handsome after being accidentally trapped to death, or even have to worry about traps at all when I'm in my state parks. Speaking of dogs dying unnecessarily, dogs should never be allowed to hunt wolves or any wild animals such as coyotes and bears where fighting can ensue. This is inhumane to say the least, and it shouldn't even be called hunting. It's simply dog fighting. This will affect mainstream hunters, wildlife watchers, and landowners at large, with large packs of dogs disrupting most of the scene. Any regulation about how the wolf population is controlled should be based on good, solid science and the recommendations of the people, like myself, who have studied the species. The population was stable and there was no biological or ethical reason to reduce the population. There are several knowledgeable wildlife ecologists, even within the DNR, who should be in control of this important species and not be controlled by those who choose to trophy hunt them. I do not support wolf hunting with literally no restrictions to manage this complicated, controversial, and wonderful animal. The Wisconsin Conservation Congress should be representative of all interests, including hunting, but not limited only to it. Hunting isn't the issue. Setting traps where a 3-year-old plays or a pheasant hunter hunts with their dog is the issue. Wanting to release packs of fighting dogs that are trained to kill where my family goes for serenity is the issue. We need to step up our game of protecting delicate ecosystems and preserving our land and water. We need to worry about protecting wildlife instead of the endless pursuit of killing it, or that idea is going to become irrelevant altogether. What this Congress needs to understand is that we cannot be all one way or another. We have to work together, and let's be respectful. That's all I ask for. Thank you.
During the course of the hearing, I'm going to ask that we all listen respectfully and keep some of the, the stuff down so we can move through some of these things, okay? So let's just, Matt, you're next, and I would ask you to keep your qualifications and your reasons for wanting to represent Dane County to 3 minutes. Well, it was 3 minutes. We were timing it, so.
Just like she had.
It was 3 minutes. We had the timer.
Folks, we're not gonna have outbursts and people calling out and then interrupting. We're giving each of the delegates 3 minutes to present their speeches here, so please be respectful.
Mr. Raines, please.
Well, first of all, thank you for joining us tonight. It's great to see a great crowd here. Folks are interested in conservation issues, and that's always a positive. Like Jane said, my name is Matt Rainey. I'm a Dane County resident and a conservationist. I have been involved in conservation issues for a very long time, for as long as I can remember when I first got started in the Boy Scouts. I have worked on a number of various issues, everything from canoeing and hiking trails to restoring wildlife areas and putting in place areas for public consumption and public use, such as trails and benches. I have an extensive background in conservation. Like Matt said, I was the first one to start a Ducks Unlimited group on Marquette's campus. It's a very proud thing that I accomplished. I looked around and I saw that not enough, in my opinion, college students were paying attention to an issue, which is our wetlands, that is very near and dear to my heart. I am active in the outdoors. I camp, I hike, I canoe, I hunt, I fish. I understand a variety of issues from all ends of the spectrum. And most importantly, I would work as a delegate to represent all those interests, everyone's interests in Dane County. Not just the hunters, not just the fishermen, but everyone's viewpoints, because that's what our duty on the Congress is. We represent you folks. I'm open to discussing any issue with anyone. I have no problem discussing your thoughts and listening to you, and I make myself available at all times for that. My cell phone's on 24 hours a day, and I take emails all day long as well. So if you ever have an issue, feel free to contact me. I think these are the reasons why I'm most qualified. Finally, the last reason I think I'm qualified, I'm a younger individual. The average age on our board is quite old, and I think I bring a different perspective. The experience is very much needed, but with that being said, I bring a different perspective. Young people are not enjoying the outdoors at nearly a rate that they were generations ago, and I believe that that's on us, and I can possibly bring a perspective to the table that allows us to get into the young folks and continue to bring them to the table so that our heritage continues. With that, thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great evening.
My name is Adam Koselke. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin. Been a lifelong resident of the state, have a love of conservation. Been active in the conservation movement, though, for approximately 25 years. On many sides of the issue, I have a lot of experience in negotiating. I did 15 years of work with labor union negotiating on both sides of the issue. And I'm very concerned that the process has become overly politicized with policymaking and wildlife issues in the state of Wisconsin. And I'd like to see more incorporation of all viewpoints. Everybody in the state deserves a voice in what goes on in the state of Wisconsin. The process has really become very narrow, and I would throw out the example of the wolf hunt, for example. Regardless of how you feel on that issue of whether or not to have a wolf hunt, the process was very tainted. It was not adequate. It did not incorporate all viewpoints. Just ask our native peoples, for example, and if they were listened to regarding it. And it's a travesty. If we're going to continue to be on a divisive trail, we're going to continue to go the way we are. But we really need someone on board that can bring together all viewpoints, go out to the public, ask for input, incorporate new ideas, bring people together, rather than the status quo of what we've seen over the last 10 years. Thank you.
I'm very flattered that I was renominated, but frankly, I think Al is a great delegate. I myself will be voting for him, so I think I can decline a nomination, and if that's the case, I'd like to decline my nomination. So I appreciate it. Thank you again for all your support. I want to vote for him. So.
My name is Al Phelan. I wanted to thank George Meyer for nominating me. As George said, I've worked for the Department of Natural Resources for 32 years. I retired from the DNR. I've been on the Conservation Congress for the last 6 years. I've been the co-chair of the Big Game Committee for the last 5 years. I've been on the Executive Council of the Congress for the last 5 years. I'm also currently involved in the Dr. Kroll Deer Review, which has just started up. I know the article that was in Sunday's paper accused the Conservation Congress of being too pro-hunting. Well, I am a pro-hunter. I'm a pro-fisherman. I'm a pro-trapper. I'm also a pro-canoeist, pro-hiker, pro-biker, pro-bird watcher. I'm engaged in all of those activities. I'm in the process of raising the third generation of people who are interested in the natural resources and enjoying them. I think the years of experience that I've had working in natural resources probably makes me the more qualified candidate. Thank you.